I really want to encourage any girlfriend who's thinking about it, go start a Substack. Even if it takes you a year to make your first post live, this is the time for us to be using our voices. And I want to encourage women to do that. Girl, I love me some Substack.
Ooh, I love me some Substack. You turned it on to me, but a whole lot of people don't know what Substack is. Tell us.
Well, to me, it is my own private corner of the internet. It is social media on my terms, which for me these days means in the slow lane of being social, being online, sharing my voice. And Substack can be whatever you want it to be. So if you've never been there, it's substack.com. But you should probably swing by girlfriends.substack.com first. Come check out our page and what we're up to. And now you've got your own. What's your, tell the ladies your.
Well, you introduced me to Substack and I was like, what is this thing? And it's essentially another social media platform, but you can own your own Substack. So that's the difference, is you can actually own your own URL, if that makes sense to you. And then you can essentially create a website where you're sending out newsletters to people who subscribe to you. You can create videos and podcasts. Substack is like hosting you in a way that feels so holistic and really not salesy and like kind of shameless promotion like a lot of other social media platforms can feel like. So what I'm noticing is it really attracts a lot of authors, which it might have originally been created for.
I think so. For writers and journalists, it's sort of my read.
Exactly, to promote their writing. And then from it now, we have lots of coaches like ourselves, podcasts like our podcast. So Love Your Voice, .me. Sorry, I'm like, what's my URL there? Is my public speaking community for women in midlife, for us to reclaim our voices, heal from our old voice scars, and really speak up at a meeting professionally or in our day-to-day lives. But I have you, Flesche, to thank, because I don't know if you girlfriends can relate, but anything that's new technologically, I have a resistance to at first. And then when I came over to the Substack world, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And you can connect with all these other Substackers. I just had 2 calls this morning with real people through my Substack connections. I've not had that through Instagram or Facebook or the other things like I have already on Substack.
Yeah, Substack is quieter. It's also free. So if you're curious about it and you want a place where maybe the still small voice inside of you wants a place to shine or be seen or just a place to write, it is just so quiet that way. You can just really have it be the experience that you want. And if you want to be discovered, they make it easier for that as well. And you and I are having a lot of fun building community on it. And it's been the perfect place to host our podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's just our own echo chamber. It gets as loud and as connected as we want it to be. And we just can make it be whatever we want.
And you can share through Substack notes, different cool podcasts and different people you love. So what's really neat too is when you join Substack, you can follow Elizabeth Gilbert. You can follow, like I'm following Roxane Gay, like some of my favorite authors and really, just public people. And then you're on there as well with your own Substack. So there's something very affirming about being on there.
It's true. It's true. It's so inspiring. Do you know Suleika Jawad?
No.
I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly.
Ooh.
She's the wife of John Baptiste.
Oh, yes. I follow her.
Yes. Oh
She's
my gosh.
amazing.
Her writing just grabs me by the heart and pulls me forward. And I just love it so much. And part of what you and I are doing in our work together here in our podcast is being this rising tide, or we want to be a part of this rising tide. We can all feel it. Women are tapping into our hearts and our bellies in a way like never before.
Yeah.
And we are speaking up. We are saying the things. We're protecting and defending each other. We're sharing resources. And so that is so much what you and I are about in this work. We want to bring people forward. Who else are you following over there?
Oh my gosh, there's so many fun people. So I have one woman who I just recently discovered. I'm so excited for her. Her Substack is called Unflattering. It's about fashion in midlife. Her name is Dacy, Dacy Gillespie. We have the link below in this podcast, but it's called Unflattering. And she walks through what you can wear at this age and feel great with. And, she's not policing you, but she's suggesting really cool ways. And then other women share their photos of what they're feeling good in. And there's all different kinds of body types on there. It's a really fun platform to get fashion inspiration for women in midlife. So Unflattering is one I'm loving.
I like that. Well, so I'm following The Empress, written by Elisa Kennedy Jones. And I just love her take on this midlife journey. And I first discovered her, I started following her just out of she's talking about midlife, I talk about midlife. So I just followed her mostly out of that. And then I found myself on a live call she was doing with a real MD talking about menopause. And it was one of the most enlightening conversations. And then I was just hooked, just hearing the questions she was asking. And I realized this is just so personal. I love the personal nature of what I find on Substack.
Yeah.
And if I want to be a part of that rising tide, I want to shout from the rooftops, who am I following and why? Because we can all do it. Because I personally do not connect and resonate with this idea of competition.
No.
That there are only so many followers, there are only so many people who can hear what I want to write about or talk about or cry about or have. We had an episode where I had a hot flash, where I'm hot flashing about. I want to share that. And because I know that there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, we're being real. We're showing up and being real. And so much of social media has become manufactured, does feel fake. And I think we're all tired of that. And so at least so far, knock on wood, Substacks stay this way. I really feel like people are showing up more authentically and really trying to connect on a real level.
Right, because the cheesy posts I see on Notes, they don't get attention.
No.
So people are putting out the cheeseball stuff or stuff that the GPT is writing for them.
Right.
It doesn't go anywhere.
No.
And somebody from Substack said this. It's a place where we're connecting with other people's consciousness.
Oh, I like that.
I liked that too. I was like, ooh, let me be really careful what I'm putting out there then, because what do I want to be connecting or putting a hand out to for women with my own personal Substack.
So I have another. Oh, and tell us your name of your Substack. Remind us, because I'm not sure if that was clear at the beginning.
Oh, right. My newsletter is called Work Life Motherhood, but the URL is flesche.substack.com, which is a mouthful. So I just got the link down below. You don't have to remember how to type Flesche, because even I have people who email me all the time and they're always misspelling my name. But I'm not bitter.
Another one Substack that I think is beautiful is by Aubrey Hirsch. It's called Graphic Rage. She is a graphic artist, illustrator, and she's a feminist, and she writes about women's health. She writes about her own personal experiences being a mother, and I love her creativity. I feel like what she can illustrate and write comes out in such an impactful way. So she's near and dear to me. And I was just thinking, I actually want to pledge my support to her. So this is another exciting thing you can do on Substack, is if someone's work is really moving you, you can pledge a monthly donation, a one-time donation, just to let them know, hey, I see you, I support what you're doing. And it's like a very low amount, but it really, really makes a difference and helps boost your favorite creator or author or coach to do more of what they want to do. So check out Graphic Rage by Aubrey Hirsch. She is just saying all the things for women, but using art and illustration in such an impactful way. I just love her art. It's really personal, but you really viscerally feel it. I just love her work. And she's done some public work in New York City on the streets that's also really beautiful. So more Aubrey Hirsch, please. We love you.
Well, I have another one I want to share. So Dr. Jen Guntner has her own, what is it? The Vagenda. is what she calls her newsletter over on Substack. And she's an MD, and she's just breaking down, especially a lot of myths. She's got a new one now about Nutrafol, the hair loss vitamin stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been curious about it because I've been losing a little bit of hair here and there. And I have a lot of girlfriends who take it. It's hella expensive. And then I get mixed results from people. Some people swear by it, and others are like, I think it's snake oil and did nothing for me. So it was interesting. I want to tuck into that, what she's writing about that. But I love this idea of an MD who is, wanting to be on the front line of these conversations about a lot of myths. What are the things that we tell ourselves, a lot of things that we're reading online? She was one of the first doctors I saw break down hormone replacement therapy in a way that had me not be hyperventilating at the idea of it.
Yeah, she talks about the benefits, about the complexity of that research. I read her book, Menopause Manifesto. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And I know there's recently some controversy about a post she wrote about weight loss, and maybe she wasn't having the most forward thinking. So I'm curious to see how she's going to handle that. So Dr. Jen, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. Hey, and it's an opportunity for us to grow and have discourse. So it's really exciting when you put out posts, especially these really well-known established authors. You're going to hear from your subscribers, and it's an opportunity to grow for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And I love what you said. I feel like she's a little bit of a fact checker for all of these new products that are being targeted for menopause. And, you can read her and still make your own decisions at the end of the day, but knowing that you have this medical doctor in your back pocket to go over these different treatments it just gives you more information to decide before you want to fork over like what can oftentimes be a lot of money for some of these products.
Well, we are a huge market, especially us Gen X ladies.
Oh, yes, we are.
We're getting older. We've saved some money, many of us. We are like spending money on beauty products.
And women make the majority of purchases, period.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Are we going to get targeted for some snake oil stuff as well? Yes. So, yeah, she does a great job at like helping us navigate that. I love that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got one more. Now, this one's a little heavy for us, but if you do want to know about news, but want to know about it in a very short, crisp, pack-a-punch kind of way, I recommend Heather Cox Richardson's Substack called Letters from an American. She typically makes almost a podcast a day, which I really enjoy. They're usually like between 7 and 10 minutes. She takes on one topic and just deep dives on it. You should see her research at the bottom of each of these posts.
She is so smart.
Oh my gosh,
so
she's
well
so smart.
informed.
She's like your smart political friend who you want to go to for these kinds of things. So on the days where just the headlines are feeling like too much, she's a really good person to listen to. She's intense. She's going to lay it out there. But what I love is she's independent. So she's not beholden to media, in any way. So I just feel like she really, really takes on a strong point of view and backs that thing up. So I do recommend it if you are in the mood to listen to some news in a very manageable, small bite way.
Yeah. I really want to encourage any girlfriend who's thinking about it, go start a Substack. Even if it takes you a year to make your first post live, this is the time for us to be using our voices, and I want to encourage women to do that.
I was so nervous when you first invited me over to Substack. I was shaking in my boots the first post I wrote because, I've written newsletters for years, as a lot of people who work for themselves have. All of a sudden, the feeling that this could be more public and could be more exposed really had me worried. However, what I've grown to learn after being here a year is it makes me a better writer because I know for a fact I'm connecting with readers.
Yeah.
And it's really meaningful. And it's made me try to be more authentically myself. So if you are someone who is curious to write, but, wants to sort of feel like you want to find more of your singular voice, I think having a Substack is a really great way. And to your point, you can subscribe and just hang out and follow a bunch of other Substackers at first. I sort of, did that for a while and toured around and kept reading my girl Flesche's going, oh, I love what she's saying. And then finally took the leap. So you can also just subscribe and like how many do you have? How many do you subscribe to?
Oh,
It is absurd.
It's probably over 100 at this
I was
point.
going to say, I
It's
think
a
I have
lot.
like 80. It's
It's
insane.
a lot. I do need to thin mine out because I get a lot of emails from it.
I know.
So that's one thing. It's a little annoying that you can't really control that, and they want you to download the app to have more control. So I think that's something Substack could do better.
Hey, Substack, take note.
Take note. But they're also growing like wildfire. I see them taking a lot of feedback. I see them really creating opportunities for us to grow,
Yes.
to see and be seen. And I have a lot of respect for that. And I see a lot of independent journalists coming over there now too.
So many journalists. Oh my gosh, Robert Reich just joined. I mean, he's a big deal in the New York Times, and he was like, I'm over here now. There is a mass exodus of journalists from standard media coming over here, and also just like really cool creative people. I just love it. I'm seeing all sorts of artists and video, podcasts. It's a cool place.
And people making good livings off their writing. And I think that's been a huge hole in the market. Like how you have to be have a huge following to get a publisher to even agree to publish your book. And even then, most people don't get very good terms. I love the idea of writing on my own terms. That's why you and I both self-publish.
That's right.
I'm not going to beg permission to write a book and have it be out in the world.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's the democratization of writing.
And so far, it really does feel like a very supportive site. It's kind of like the anti-social media site. And I just read notes from more and more people saying, I love it here. It feels so supportive. It feels so creative. People are really thinking. And to your point, once in a while, you'll see a note that feels very like spammy or bawdy, and it gets ignored. So it's a really like deep thinking place. And I'm telling everyone to come on over. It's the place to be. And we're there as well. So come start with us. Subscribe to Girlfriends and get familiar. From there, you can hop on the general homepage and just look for your favorite author. Follow them and just go down the rabbit hole. It is a delightful place.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you over on Substack,
Yes!
girlfriend. Till next time.
Bye.